Welcome to this week's edition of Impact News. I'm Carol Angela Davis. Folks, a Trump-loving Californian was at Anchorage, Alaska for a MAGA rally and was pulled over by police for swerving in her lane. That's right, folks. All right, the cops pulled her over, asked her for her driver's license, which of course she did not have. So what did she do? She showed the local police, are you ready for this? Her novelty white privilege card that reads, "White privilege card trumps everything." Wonder where she got that idea. What did the cops do? They laughed. Oh, yes, they thought it was funny. They joked with her. Oh, yes, they took selfies with her. Yes, they did, folks. And then they let her go. No, she did not get a ticket. No, apparently there was no breathalyzer test given since she was swerving in her lane. It was all a big joke, which she, of course, had the time to film with her camera. And then, of course, she posted it on video, on social media. There's absolutely no shame in her game and no appreciation for what she did. All right. She also, by the way, lived to tell about it. Yes, she did, folks. She's doing just fine, posted on her social media. Fortunately, these cops were placed on administrative leave, albeit for only 11 days. But I should let you know that The Guardian is reporting this. From January 2017 through April 2022, officers killed 589 people during traffic stops, and at least 28% of those killed were Black. This is what we're talking about. This is why we can't have confidence in law enforcement, because these are the kinds of things they do. They think that it's okay to laugh and joke and take selfies with someone who's holding a white privilege card who they then let go. So the cops clearly didn't think they would be discovered, and she just didn't care. All she cared about was the fact that she had white privilege, and she didn't have to get, when the cops stopped her, they would eventually let her go no matter what she did. She could have been drinking. Didn't matter. Folks, law enforcement must be taken to task, and law enforcement must act the same way towards everyone. That's what we're fighting for, and we will not stop until we get it. I'm Carol Angela Davis. Stay tuned for more. These are your news stories from all around the neighborhood and all around the world, beginning with your headlines. Black women are struggling financially. Also today, big oil. Why are they trying to kill us for the sake of money? Plus, time to make the airlines act like they've got some sense. And how much disaster can America really afford? Plus, Seaweed smothers the Caribbean. China is becoming way too hot, and confirmed the FBI never really investigated Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Plus, our AR-15 rifles coming to your kid's school resource officer. Yes, that's actually happening. Plus, her and Beauty and the Beast, and African-American history and our national parks. Stay with me. Looking at the economy, folks, Black women are struggling financially in today's economy, and that is the word from the National Women's Law Center, because between February 2020 and April 2020, and folks, that's only 3 months, you should know that 22 million jobs were lost, and 54% of them were held by women of color. Their debts soared during the pandemic. Their child care responsibilities increased, so many of them had to, of course, reduce their work hours or quit their jobs to take care of their kids. According to a survey, 85% of them said they had taken on additional debt due to personal circumstances, and 87% said that their rocky finances have taken a toll on their mental health. Also today, is it true that big oil is just wringing humanity dry? Just can't get enough of that greed money, can you, big oil? Okay. The earth is burning, the glaciers are melting, the germs are proliferating, and much of it is due, or really all of it is due to global warming, much of which is caused by the fossil fuel industry. They are posting record profits. That's what the oil and gas companies are doing. They are posting record profits. Okay, we're not talking millions, we're talking tens of billions of dollars, folks. They are raking in the cash on our behalf, and frankly, it's downright criminal. That is my opinion. High energy prices are one of the leading factors driving inflation, because the cost of energy affects absolutely everything we do. All right, so how much money did they make? Well, guess what? Since last year, ExxonMobil, $17.85 billion, folks. All right, Shell, $11.5 billion, and Chevron, $11.62 billion. All of that is profit, my dear, profit, okay? Only 1% of their budgets are spent on green energy, helping us save the planet, but they spend $200 million a year lobbying to delay, to control, or to block policies to tackle climate change. Stop it. Help us out here. All right, then the Biden administration is trying to rein in the airlines. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg proposing airline refund rules that are going to clarify when the airlines have to pay up. Right now, the airlines have to guarantee refunds if a flight is canceled or experiences a significant delay and the passenger chooses not to travel. But under the new proposed rule, that it's going to mean that the airlines are going to have to give you a refund when the departure or arrival time changes by at least 3 hours for a domestic flight and by at least 6 hours for an international flight. Also, if the airlines change the departure or arrival airport, they increase the number of connections or alter the type of aircraft if it causes a significant downgrade to the air travel experience. Thank you, Pete Buttigieg. We appreciate it. Now, how much disaster can America really afford? In 2021, there were 20, count them, there were $20 billion disasters. They were weather and climate disasters. All those tracked by the U.S. government. Now, these disasters killed 700 people and cost the United States about $145 billion. And folks, they're not slowing down. No. And it's usually ordinary Americans, usually without adequate insurance, who bear the brunt of these disasters. Last year marked the 7th consecutive year in which the nation experienced 10 or more separate billion-dollar disasters. Yes. Climate change affects some communities worse than others, and we know the game. Low-income communities and communities of color bear the brunt of the climate crisis. The deaths in Kentucky from that flash flood, they came from 5 counties. And according to the U.S. Census, those 5 counties are some of the poorest counties in the United States. One emergency worker said this: "I worked with emergency management for 10 years, and here's the truth. They never pull folks from their homes in affluent neighborhoods." Okay. Continuing to look at the climate, this is really bad, a record amount of seaweed is smothering the beaches of the coast of the Caribbean. Tons of brown algae, it's killing wildlife, it's choking the tourism industry and releasing toxic gases. And that is the word from the University of South Florida's Optical Oceanography Laboratory. Now, these toxic gases can affect people with respiratory problems, including asthma, because those toxic gases are being released. And it is a particular problem, folks, for the Virgin Islands, for St. Martin, for Union Island, which is part of St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, for Barbados, and also for Martinique and the Cayman Islands. Let's be vigilant. The news is also not good in China, where China says that its temperatures are rising faster than the global average. Well, make all that manufacturing. We don't need all this fast fashion, and stop buying it, folks. All right, this summer, China has experienced temperatures in excess of 111 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, as many as 131 Chinese weather stations, excuse me, as many as 131 Chinese weather stations have recorded temperatures that equaled or exceeded historical highs. Yes, that's more than double for the whole of last year. This climate is becoming a huge problem faster and faster and faster. All right, let's move on to another problem, the FBI. They're now, I should say Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, because the FBI is now confirming what we all knew, that it never investigated those claims that now Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh engaged in sexual misconduct against women. The FBI received 4,500 tips, folks. All were referred to the Trump White House, and the FBI looked into barely any of them. I don't think so. Compare that to your background check to work in a warehouse. If they find anything, they use it not to hire you, folks, okay? Now, Kavanaugh then had the audacity, we know what he thinks of women, because he allegedly sexually assaulted them, all right? So he turns around and gets on the Supreme Court and votes to take away our right to control our own body. Okay, dude, keep that up, see what happens, because guess what? You will be investigated by the FBI, I'm pretty sure of that, and then there's going to be a whole nother set of problems for you. All right, let's move on. School is opening in Madison County, North Carolina, so if your kids are in that school district, you might want to homeschool them. And that's because the sheriff there is going to include AR-15 rifles, folks. That's right, for school resource officers to use in the event of a mass shooting. It is ludicrous. I mean, it is ridiculous. The sheriff has placed one of the semi-automatic rifles in each of the county's 6 schools. Get out of there while the getting is good, okay? That each of the guns will be locked inside a safe. There you go. They're in the safe. There you go, folks. They actually think this is a remedy, folks. Like they are going to here's the mass shooters in the school. Oh my gosh, let's go to the safe. Somebody's going to run to the safe while the mass shooting is going. They're going to very nervously open the safe, which could take, I don't know how long, because they're going to be scared to death. Then they're going to open it. They're going to get the rifle out. Then they got to run to the mass shooter, because remember, the police in Uvalde didn't do that because they were too scared. So now we think a school resource officer is going to do that. Okay. Do you know how many adults and children are going to be pulverized by that mass shooter before that happens? It is ridiculous. And again, we need intelligent people running things. Don't forget that. All right, let's move on. Grammy and Academy Award winner her. She's going to star as Belle in ABC's Beauty and the Beast 30th anniversary special. And just in case you don't know, her is a 5-time Grammy Award winner, including last year's Song of the Year for I Can't Breathe, inspired by George Floyd. Also, she won the Academy Award for Best Original Song for Fight for You from the film Judas and the Black Messiah. And then finally today, our international and our national parks and the international parks are offering lessons in Black history, just in case you don't know. Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad National Historical Park, that's a self-guided scenic driving tour. It's in Maryland. It's throughout Maryland's Dorchester, Talbot, and Caroline counties. There are 30 sites that you'll get to visit there. Then you've got George Washington Carver National Monument, the first U.S. national park to be named after an African American. It's in the southwestern Missouri town of Diamond. You've also got Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Park, one of Atlanta's busiest tourist attractions. Plus you've got, now we're going to Canada, you've got Richard Pierpoint Park. It's named for a British soldier of Senegalese descent and one of Canada's most famous Black loyalists. That park is in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And then you've also got Jardin Nelson Mandela, which was designed and opened in Paris in 1988. Those are your stories. Stay with me. I've got more. Ask Dr. K, the International Report, Crypto Convos Missing, and the Slay Word. Stay with me. I am Carol Angela Davis here with your Slay Word of the Week. Folks, the word this week is nebulous, N-E-B-U-L-O-U-S, nebulous. That is an adjective and its origin is in 1674. That's right, folks. The definition is indistinct and vague. Let's use it in a sentence. Donald Trump and his minions thought their involvement in January 6th, if uncovered, would appear nebulous. Were they ever wrong? Also today, Alex Jones, oh yes, he thought he could give nebulous answers in court to avoid a big judgment against him, but Alex Jones was wrong, and of course he lost the InfoWars. Bye, Felicia. Nebulous, that is your Slay Word. It means indistinct and vague. Use it all week in your convos and level up that vocab.
Anyone who thinks that slavery ended in the 1860s with the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation are grievously wrong.
If we caught a bird, we ate through the feathers and ate the bird. We didn't have nothing to cook on. We didn't have no stove.
You know who you are and who we are.
We're still on the big plantation.
She was bonded to them until they died. She was their slave.
They said, well, we're going to be killed tonight.
Could that same white dude keep terrorists there, or Russian spies, or the KGB? Then the government wouldn't know it? No.
They thought I was beat so bad that I couldn't do nothing, but I did.
Where are you? We are searching for you, and with the community's help, we will find you. We are looking for our African American girls who've gone missing. Lashaya Stein was 16 years old when she disappeared from Aurora, Colorado in 2016. There is surveillance video of Lashaya walking in the area of East Montview Boulevard and North Peoria Street in Aurora. Lashaya was seen during the early hours of July 15, 2016. She was wearing a black V-neck shirt, black stonewashed jeans, and a silver watch on her left arm. She also has a round scar on her chest. There is a $15,000 reward in Lashaya's case. Call Crime Stoppers with any information to help us find Lashaya Stein. Where are you? We are working to find you, and with the community's help, we will. We are back with our international report with Dr. Inyang Ebon Harstrick. You know, she travels all over the world with the United Nations, so you know she knows what she's talking about. Inny, thank you so much for bringing us this valuable perspective.
Thank you, Carol. What I want to talk about today is WHO declaring monkeypox a global emergency health crisis. And basically, WHO has said more than 70 countries have had the outbreak of monkeypox. And monkeypox, we know, is it's an animal vector. An animal carries this disease, wild animals such as rats, and they transfer it to humans. At least that's how it's been transferred in Africa. It has now come to Europe and North America. And they have found it in people that cannot say they've been in Africa or been near wild animals. So it's now in the human population. And WHO, despite the fact that they were not able to reach consensus, has decided that the world needs to take this seriously before it breaks out into a huge epidemic like COVID.
Wow, it's very interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Ingang Ebon-Harstrup. Now you know that she knows what's going on around the world. She gives you valuable perspective. Stay with us. We've got to ask Dr. K. We'll be back right after this. Thank you, Ingi.
Thank you, Carol.
We are back with your Crypto Convos with Lionel the Builder Sepp. Welcome, Lionel.
Hi, thanks for having me again, as always.
Yep.
So
what's going on in the market?
this week in crypto, Bitcoin is actually showing some recovery. It's 2,300 right now, and Ethereum is 1,800, getting back up there to 2,000. But I also wanted to mention, don't let that get you too excited, because it's a very volatile market, and we have to pay very close attention to everything else going on in the world right now, with the gas prices, with Russia and Ukraine and China possibly invading Taiwan. We don't know, but if that does happen, that is 100% going to affect crypto stocks and everything else. Also, Coinbase put out their earnings report, and they missed the mark by a lot. So their stock, Coinbase's stock coin, which is the only crypto exchange that is public in the NASDAQ. We're not talking cryptocurrency here. We're talking NASDAQ stock. Coinbase stock is down right now. And that's another thing. They put out how much of their earnings that they missed, what was projected. They're a lot lower than what was projected. And they've given a lot of good interviews explaining why, that you can look up and look into. But that's our crypto report for the week.
Thank you, Lionel. So, and real quick, because we only have about 10 seconds, do you think that Bitcoin will ever go back up to that 65,000 range?
Yes, I do, honestly. Bitcoin, for sure. I can speak confidently about Bitcoin. Ask me anything past that, and I will say I wouldn't be so confident with that. But Bitcoin, I definitely believe so.
Okay, all right. Well, that's your crypto convo for the day, for the week, I should say. I'm Carol Angela Davis. This is Lionel the Builder Sepp. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week with more information. Thank you, Lionel.
Thank you.
We are back closing out the show with Dr. K, who always comes to you with your health in mind. Dr. K, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a very special time of year, because every year I want to talk about the school lunch. So many of our chronic diseases, cancer, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, high blood pressure, believe it or not, they begin in childhood with what we eat. Food is so much our medicine. It is incredible. And beginning with good eating habits is critical to our health and wellness and our longevity. So while we have our children's lunches, we have a time to captivate them and really introduce them to healthy foods, even though our local supermarket is full of processed foods. So let's go through the lunch, and what's normally in it is the sandwich, which consists of some kind of processed meat, which we know is a carcinogen.
Lunchable.
And the more we are exposed to processed meats, the higher the incidence of colon cancer. Second thing is the bread. We know that bread is something that our children may have a gluten allergy. It is fortified with minerals, because so many minerals are taken out in the process of making the bread that they have to put the minerals back in. But these minerals should never have come out. So bread is bad. However, if you just insist on it, whole grain bread is the best option. But remember also that many times gluten is a behavior problem not so much even as it is an intestinal problem. So a lot of ADHD and different behaviors are linked to the ingestion of gluten. Mayonnaise, cholesterol, hateful eight on the oils. Mayonnaise is basically not good for us. The snack that normally comes from the middle aisle, sugar, diabetes. So what can go in our children's lunch? Well, the main course can be a salad. It can be a series of fruits. Here is your child's medicine, your child's behavior medicine, your child's disease prevention. It's all right here, and it's found in the produce aisle of your supermarket. The plant-based whole foods diet can make up your child's lunch. What is our child's snack? A piece of fruit. Anything else is going to have excess amounts of sugars, etc. What is the drink? Water. So let's think about our children's lunches as we begin the school year. Stay healthy and know that food is our medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. K, because we all know staying healthy these days, it is difficult with all these chemicals and all this mess in our food. So we thank you, Dr. K. Thank you for being here every week and helping us to stay healthy. And of course, you guys, you know by now, you got to eat a plant-based diet. At least you got to eat mostly a plant-based diet. I'm Carol Angela Davis. Thank you, Dr. K.
Thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. And from all of us here at Impact News, we thank you for joining us for another week of informative sessions, and we'll see you next week with more.